Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you have not been here before, my name is Debbie and I read a lot of books. And today was my first day back to Aquafit after injuring my knee. And it is sore, but I am so glad I went back. I'm not going back to Thursdays yet because Thursday is a bit more hardcore, like HIIT style workout in the water. So Tuesdays, it's still a good workout. I even had to amend some of the moves because there was points where it was like, no, but that really hurts, so I'm going to do something else instead. Yeah, it was interesting to go back, and I'm glad to get back into it because exercise in the water is just so much easier. Today, I have Animal by Lisa Taddeo. It is the first novel from the author of Three Women. So that is your front cover. I'll just read the blurb to you. It's done in the first person. You kind of feel like you're reading a diary, but yeah. I drove myself out of New York City where a man shot himself in front of me. He was a gluttonous man, and when his blood came out, it looked like the blood of a pig. That's a cruel thing to think, I know. He did it in a restaurant where I was having dinner with another man. Another married man. Do you see how this is going? But I wasn't always that way. I am depraved. I hope you like me. This was a very interesting book. It's in crime, thriller, general fiction, literary fiction and romance. Target audience, adult, explicit, which I definitely agree with. Where to start with this one at all? It feels like you're reading a diary. The dialogue is not done traditionally, it's done just more like with a dash, and it's very like he said, she said, but you're seeing it all from Joan's point of view as she recalls her relationships, her childhood, where she is now. And at first I wasn't sure how I was getting on with this book, and then as it went through further I think it was around the middle of the book that I was just like, no, I realised that there is something about this book that is drawing me in, and it's dark, it's gritty, and I will say that there are lots of references to rape and sexual abuse. If that is a trigger for you, I don't recommend it. The word rape is used not just in the way that we know it to be used, it's used as a metaphor at times as well. So yeah, it's very explicit. You look at everything that has created Joan, from her relationship with her mother and her father, and to the point where she knows her mother's not perfect but she still loves her, and finding out what happened between her mother and father that made her the way she is, and then her attraction to older men, to married men, and how self-destructive that is, as well as being destructive to other people. It's also quite self-destructive. I don't know what else to say. It's an incredibly powerful book. I will say that. I didn't know what to expect really going into this, having the only other book I've read by her was Three Women, which was interviews that she did with more than three women, to be honest, to be able to get the stories that she did. So I was wondering what her fiction was going to be like, and there are moments of it being slightly funny, but there's very dark undertones all the way through. And to be honest, if I imagine this as a movie, I could imagine this as an indie movie where it's kind of very like reds, yellows, probably slightly sepia toned, kind of very artsy shots. That's what I was getting visually in my mind as I was reading it. But yeah, I think this definitely goes down the line of being more of an indie film. It feels like a story that's better told in one go rather than split up. Which is interesting actually that I think that, because the book feels quite split up in regards to how it tells the story of now, her relationships with the married men, and her childhood and her relationship with her parents. It's like even the front cover just shows a close-up on an eye, kind of like the idea of like tapping into her animal tendencies, but I can almost get the image of a shot of going into her eye and then coming back out on like childhood Joan. Yeah, the imagery that this book gave me was kind of beautiful actually, which is weird to say considering what it's about, but it is all leading up to Joan kind of snapping. She talks about how she's been sexualised throughout her whole life by men, And as I said, you know, there's talk of rape in this book, and not just in regards to Joan, in regards to other characters, and how rape can also be used as a metaphor for something else. And that probably sounds really, really strange, but it's really hard to talk about how the word is used as a metaphor. I think you just have to read the book to kind of understand that. But as I said, if any of that sounds like a trigger for you, please don't read this, because I don't want to, or at least try and do your research about what you're getting into in this book. It felt like a very powerful read. And the fact is, Joan isn't the most likeable person, because she's fallen in love with older men, married men. She splits up her family, and part of that storyline is the wife of one of those men, the one that dies, the one that kills himself in front of her. That wife harasses Joan throughout the book in messages. Like, there's a point when Joan kind of blocks the number because she's just being harassed by her. And to say that she's being harassed by the wife of the married man that she dated can seem a bit strange, but the fact is that even when he's gone, the wife won't leave Joan alone, to the point where she's there saying, "My daughter, I believe, is on her way out to kill you." It's just like, okay, this is a point when the wife needs to realise it's not just Joan, her husband made this choice as well. So a lot of the time when it comes to affairs, a lot of people look at the one that stole them away, and it's just like, no, that person had a choice that they made. And so, you know, don't just blame one person when an affair happens, because the fact is, the husband had the affair, not Joan. Joan's problem was that she fell in love with a married man, but she did not necessarily split that family up. He did, which a lot of people always seem to forget when it comes to affairs. Like, the one that is married is the one that broke the vow. So it doesn't matter if Joan lusted over him and all of this. He chose to leave his family. And in this case, the wife does harass Joan. Joan is still dealing with the fact that she saw him shoot himself in front of her while she was out with another person. Yeah, you've got all this build-up to finding out exactly what happened, and yeah, it was a very powerful read. It's interesting trying to explain my feelings about this book, because is it one I'm going to reread? No. To be fair, I'm not much of a rereader anyway, but this is not one that I would go, maybe some way down the road I might read that again. I'm not sure if I would, but I will admit that the imagery that it gave me, like the idea of how it would be presented if it was a film, going down that kind of indie route, I just found it a powerful read. That's the best way to describe it. I am intrigued by other Lisa Taddeo stuff. So at the moment, I am currently listening to The Killing Sense by Sam Blake, and I'm also interspersing that with the Beatrix Potter collection by Beatrix Potter, which is narrated by Andrew Scott and Patricia Rutledge, and I'm in my happy place when I listen to the Beatrix Potter collection. I've gone through a bit of a rough time recently, so listening to that really just helps to just neutralise my brain. And then others on the audiobooks, I've got The Radleys by Matt Haig, and I've just had Daddy by Emma Klein available to me. And then I have also started Swan Song by Robert Art McCammon. This was recommended to me on one of my YouTube videos, and so I've also got Boy's Life by Robert McCammon as well. So yeah, and I have started the Genevieve books. So I think I've already done a video for book 1. And then it doesn't look like there's any more Whitehaven Witches books, so I'm reading the last one, which is book 13, which is Sacred Magic. And I think I should be I'm not far off getting the next 3 Blake Pierce books. There's 2 available, so hopefully once the next one's available, because I like to do it in 3s. I don't know why I've chosen 3s. Is it because the elements at work has the power of 3? I don't know. But yeah, so that's what I've got going on at the moment. So yeah, if Animal sounds intriguing to you, you have to let me know what you think of it if you've read it as well, and if you agree with some of my observations of it. But yeah, it's dark, it does have funny elements, you just seeing this element of obsession and lust, love, and what love means to Joan, and just seeing what made her. Yeah, I think that's the best way to describe it. Oh, my knee is feeling sore after my aquafit this morning. I think we might be returning the crutches today. Anyway, so thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. Hello to the new subscribers, it's very nice to see you. And yeah, if you do have recommendations, as you know, I do take them, and I've just started reading a book. I think I'm in page 100 of like over 1,000 pages. Yeah, I'm on page 107 of 1,618. And it's a very interesting book. It's one song to be reading right now, but it's a decision by the American president since basically seems like the start of World War III. This is the book I'm talking about. And people start to go into like underground bunkers to protect themselves from the impending war. Yeah. But yes, so thank you, and I will see you next time with another video. Stay safe, everybody. Bye!